movie's gonna flop.
Our mind's about to pop. But enough of that noise.
Time for the B-Roll Boiz.
Welcome back to another spine-splitting episode of B-Roll Boiz. This week we watched Uwe Boll's 2005 epic, Alone in the Dark, based on a video game I didn't play. I'm your host, Justen, and with me I've got Harlan.
Insert humorous greeting here.
And Wes.
Hey, how's it going?
This is very meta. So yeah, we watched Alone in the Dark, and I did not hate this nearly as much as I wanted to. I hated it in that it was really boring.
Does that just make us hate it more? Also, you described this as epic. I don't know if that's an adjective I would use.
That was a sarcastic joke.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
You sound so energetic.
I don't know what to say.
I think you were emotionally drained by Alone in the Dark.
I feel really deflated because we had like multiple good picks in a row, and then this one was just a fucking stinker.
It happens.
Yeah.
What was this, like an hour 45? Is that right?
Something like that. We watched the unrated director's cut on Tubi.
Now I hate that we extended our misery by 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was 3 minutes, and I'm guessing it was just to make it more violent.
Just for a couple of like slightly more gory shots, which were admittedly cool, but like, I don't know if it was,
cool in quotations, Mark. I felt like this was, I don't know, it felt like kind of a cross between original Resident Evil and National Treasure.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was just Christian Slater's hairline.
Christian Slater.
He's front and center in this. He's the star. And Harlan is doing his face where he's got like this strained looking smile, but he's got like an underbite.
Like, it's really funny until he looks you in the eyes, and then it just kind of steals your soul.
Yeah, it makes me kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, please stop.
But so can we attempt to decipher the plot of this?
No,
dude. We're gonna have to
I
have
was
a
paying
map.
attention. You can't say that I wasn't.
That's true.
My eyes weren't glued to the fucking screen. I have no idea what the fuck this movie was about.
I don't either.
It's weird because like it seems like it was pretty convoluted, but it ended up just being like a zombie/monster shooter. So it's like, why did it need to be so fucking complicated with the setup? Just fucking have zombies show up and then
Yeah, I know, right? And because it's got such a complex storyline, I can't think of anyone better to explain this to us than Justen. What's going on?
Well, what I gathered through watching this and mulling it over for years and years.
He's been thinking on it.
He's been sleeping on it a while. He's been
and then
reading
a plot summary and getting bored halfway through reading that. Basically, there's like a...
Wait, you didn't even finish the plot summary you were reading?
I kind of skimmed it. Because my eyes just started glazing over and my ADD started taking over, and I was like, I could be doing anything else.
You didn't read the novelization for the prep for this?
No, and I didn't play the game either, and all I ever heard about the game was that, well, nobody ever fucking played it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
It was like a horror game from '92. Nobody's played it.
It's kind of like, I think that it was a semi-big deal at the time, but you'd have to be like 40 years old to remember that now.
Yeah, to have a good enough PC and shit to run this in '92.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a precursor of Resident Evil, of just limited movement, isometric camera, like in small claustrophobic spaces. And
looks worse than an N64 game.
Yeah, well, I guess it looked pretty good for 3D in '92, but nothing that I can write home about, and I've never heard this considered like one of the pivotal franchises or anything. I think that Silent Hill and Resident Evil kind of stole its thunder a bit, even though those came out later.
It was never good enough to
Slater.
go back and play it, whereas people still play Silent Hill 1.
Yeah. And like even with the shittiness of the original Resident Evil games, like, I mean, those are still being remade all the time. So
yeah, exactly.
With its 300,000 sequels, we're gonna have to watch a Resident Evil movie at some point.
100%. I will watch any one of them.
I like 1 through 3, and then after that, I kind of lose interest.
I'll still watch those. I've seen all of them except the very last one, actually.
Okay, but what I gathered from this was that there's like an ancient tribe of people, and this is explained through a very lengthy title crawl that's narrated like a fucking Discovery Channel series.
Yeah, it's like Ken Burns, like you're learning about the Civil War. It just has like that really monotone, droning voice, and there's like 12 paragraphs of text.
Yeah, he's just reciting it like very matter of fact about it, you know?
There's just no flair to it. And again, I just kind of, my eyes glazed over and I was like, oh God, I already hate it. I think we were like 30 seconds into it and I actually said that I was bored.
Yeah. Justin said it first, not me.
Just
That's true.
Black screen, white text, and it scrolls. At least Star Wars had the like effect that it was going away into space. But this just has nothing. And then you get to see Christian Slater, and he's implied to be a guy with a checkered past. Gets into a cab with some kid looks like the drug dealer from Pulp Fiction, and also Ed Sheeran.
And he's got a ball and trench coat.
Yeah, he's
Christian
dressed.
Slater.
He's
Not
dressed.
Christian
Yeah,
Slater.
Christian Slater's dressed straight up out of the Matrix here. And then he gets into this kid's cab, and another cab starts chasing him, and like ramming the back of the car. And I was like, "What the fuck?" He gets in a huge like kung fu fight with the guy too.
But, sorry, before we get into that kung fu fight, I just want to say he gets in the cab, and just to emphasize the checkered past that you alluded to.
Yeah.
He's the taxi driver comments. He's like, "Oh, you're traveling light," and he's like, "I've got enough baggage for the both of us."
I got so much baggage.
And he's carrying around a rock that looks like an artichoke. And you're like, "Oh, it's the MacGuffin." Got
like
it.
a
Was there any
Bull's egg.
significance to that? Like, did
It was.
anything-
It's like all these stones from the ancient tribe that fit together or whatever, and then I think that opens the portal where all the like demon things come out. It's really stupid.
So what's that have to do with the orphans?
The orphans were the invisible like Edge of Tomorrow creatures because they.
So there's two different creatures.
They were the creatures.
There's creatures from hell, and then there's the orphan creatures.
And why were they only sometimes invisible? They had like a gnosis thing going on, like the things from Xenoblade, you know,
they
where
had
they're
different
like
classes?
they're like sometimes just intangible and invisible, but other times they're just not. Like,
I don't know. They had active camo on, and it runs out. I played Halo too.
they had the Phantom Cloak from Metroid. Yeah,
Nice.
other video game
But
references.
oh yeah,
Nice.
so Christian Slater was an orphan,
Slater.
and he doesn't remember his past because some government agency came and took all the orphans in this orphanage away and experimented on them and turned them into whatever the fuck's from Xenoblade.
Xenosaga.
Xenosaga, excuse me.
I don't remember my past.
And he gets a kung fu fight with a guy that doesn't respond to bullets.
That was the best part.
What was with that? What was with that guy? I don't.
Oh yeah, I never.
It's because I remember this part.
Oh, really?
Because
Alright.
they
Lay it on
they,
me.
they like did an autopsy on the guy. He was really fit for an autopsy. Yeah, it's a band.
Harlan.
It's a deathcore band. But yeah, they tear this guy apart, and apparently he's got like some implant in his spine where it's supposed to like turn off his nervous system, which is why he's able to just take a bullet to the heart. That doesn't make sense.
And is never nervous.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
Like,
sense.
I think it's supposed to imply like, oh, he's not going to feel pain, but it's like, okay, yeah, but he would just be dead.
Yeah.
Because he
Like,
took a bullet to the
like if
heart.
you get shot in like the arm or the leg or something, like that would explain why he could still keep running. But like he gets shot in a lethal spot, it's like, okay, well then he should just be dead, regardless of whether or not that hurts.
This goes from like a historical mystery sci-fi kind of thing to it just basically devolves down to a zombie story by the end.
Yeah.
And it's not very well illustrated. So I guess my biggest issue with this movie is we had no fucking clue what was going on. There was not, like, I was really excited about this because it's Uwe Boll. I figured that would be a nice fountain to draw from for shittiness. And there was just nothing about this, really. It looks really bad. It's like obviously a cheapo mid-2000s movie. We've got some pretty hilarious music choices of like the best of corny metal. We've got like Nightwish and Nemec in there, which is pretty hysterical. I honestly forgot Nemec ever existed until this, and I thought it was Mudvayne.
Yeah,
So
it's like half a step up from a Sci-Fi Channel original.
it looks just like it.
I wouldn't say that there's like nothing to grab onto in this movie because there are definitely some scenes that I enjoyed. You know,
I like
or
the action, kind of.
Yeah, like they're like early on in the movie when he's fighting that one guy you mentioned earlier. They're in like a warehouse and it's like the middle of the day, and like it seems like the machines are operating and yet there are just no employees around. I thought that was weird. But he's fighting this guy and Christian Slater's like, you know, he gets knocked down and he's like laying on his back, and then he just springs up, but it's not like he like, you know, does like a thing where he gets on his hands and then kicks off the ground, you know, or anything like that. He just like levitates up and does a backflip somehow.
Yeah, he does a
Shit like that.
backflip from his back.
Because
Yeah,
he's-
like
he's
it's
the
a
Chad
horizontal
Aragorn.
backflip. It was really fucking awesome.
He's
It
the
was awesome.
omnicompetent badass. We've got some kind of like questionable shots in here. Like I think that they were trying to be artsy. I don't know if this is a reference to the game, but we got a shot like down the barrel of a gun where we've got the slow motion bullet, like CGI bullet coming out of it, going through an ice block for some reason, then
Yeah,
to
what
the
was the
guy's
point of
chest. I don't know. I
they
feel like
rented
that's a
that
reference to
slow-mo
the
camera.
game, but I don't know what that is. And then he ends up not even using that gun throughout the whole movie because he's got a fucking hand cannon through the rest of it. Out here looking like Rick Grimes.
I don't know. I feel like the block of ice is because they were like rented the slow mo camera because that shit's fucking expensive. So
Oh
productions,
yeah, especially for 2005.
they always rent those out instead of anything else. And so they probably just like, okay, we have this for one day. Let's make it as cool as possible. Put a fucking block of ice in front of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And speaking of the guns, later in the movie, they mentioned that they have these they have these Gatling guns that are motion sensors. They have motion sensors on them, and this one lady tests the motion sensor by standing in front of the Gatling gun and like moving her hand. Like, isn't there a safer way to test that? Like,
How else are you gonna do it?
Put Christian Slater in front of it.
Christian Slater.
put like a little paper on a stick and then just wave it in front of it. Don't put your body in front of it. Jesus Christ,
Like
it's a
throw it-
Gatling gun.
Like throw a tennis ball in the distance and see if it can hit it.
They're testing it like Ed 209 from RoboCop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even fucking know what to say about the plot. It
I-
just doesn't make sense.
I'll say just about the movie in general, like, yeah, there were definitely some scenes and parts of it that I really enjoyed when the movie just like it'd be boring for okay, so like the first like 20 minutes was pretty entertaining because that was like the chase with him and that guy into the warehouse. And then it just got boring for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it fucking was balls to the walls crazy with the action. And it was awesome for like a minute, and then it was just boring again for the rest of the movie. And so, they definitely had like the seeds of a good movie in there, but it was just too fucking boring in between. It was like, man, again, why did we need this fucking convoluted setup for what's just a stupid zombie shooter?
I don't
Like,
even think it had the seeds of a good movie. There was just nothing for me here.
Yeah, what's crazy is this might be Uwe Boll's best movie by being the most mediocre movie of all time.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
what,
this had
what
like a
did,
2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
what did you guys think about the scene where they're like, where it played Nemec and they were like shooting all the monsters in the dark? I thought that was cool.
He just copied that exact moment from House of the Dead. Spoilers, that happens there too.
Is that right?
Almost every movie he does breaks out into like one scene that's like from the video game, and he just does that. So
Yeah, I guess
that wasn't even
like
original.
pace breakers, where the main meat of the movie is just being shitty, boring dialogue that doesn't make any sense. We're introducing characters just kind of out of nowhere. There's no introduction to any of these people. I didn't even realize until looking up the plot summary that the woman in this, who's supposed to be like an assistant curator for a museum or something, and her boss is the bad guy. That's supposed to be Christian Slater's ex-girlfriend. Maybe I zoned out for that part, but like
I have no
I don't
idea.
remember hearing that.
and
either.
apparently apparently they have sex at one point, and we didn't notice that. Any of us.
I swear to you that didn't happen. Maybe that's not in the director's cut for some reason.
I'm pretty
you
sure
know?
that synopsis is gaslighting us because this shit did not.
I,
happen.
yeah, like my eyes were on the TV the whole time. That didn't happen.
We would have noticed the sex
Like
scene.
this-
Let me tell you that.
yeah.
You're right here.
Fucking right here. Anyway,
Right there.
Right
there we
there.
go.
Right there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
just
yeah.
completely devolve it into another accent.
Got to have some Peter Jackson. Some Slater.
Some Christian Slater.
Hey, fuck, you know what? Right here.
Right here.
Speaking of the bad guy, I don't know. He's just like, just a very generic bad guy to where he's even got like the slight like British accent. He's like,
He's a
"Don't you-"
doctor.
Yeah, he's like, don't you know who I am? I'm the leader of the evil people.
Master Wayne.
Batman.
Wine.
And yeah, there's just
Charles?
like so
Charles.
it's revealed later. It's so weird. There's a reveal later that the orphans were experimented on, and they had
Orphans
like
that Christian Slater was in the orphanage with.
like Christian Slater's one of them. He's grown up
19
now.
others.
Yeah,
Orphan Slater.
and it's revealed that they were like experimented on, and they had these like parasite things implanted in them, and the movie treated it like a big like whoa moment, and I was like, Didn't we already know that? Like, I
Yeah,
could have
I
sworn
thought
that
that
was
was the whole
already.
point.
Yeah, I thought we knew that already. Why are they treating it like a reveal?
Because there's like one with Christian Slater's name on it.
They don't expect you to put two and two together. They're like, wait, he was an orphan.
I thought that
So
was
we
just
could
common
infer
knowledge.
that happened to him too, probably.
Yeah.
But then they just have to spoon feed it to you anyway,
That
if you were too stupid to figure it out. But
was
I mean,
so
jokes
goddamn-
on us. 'Cause
You know
we don't
who we
what's
you know
going
who we
on.
needed to explain it?
Yeah.
That fucking mall cop. Because
Yeah,
at the museum, go ahead.
Paul Blart there was based.
yeah. So when we're introduced to Tara Reid's character, I don't even remember what her name is supposed to be in the.
I can't
film.
tell you any character's name.
I remembered Christian Slater's was the only one I picked up on, and I honestly completely forgot it.
Edward
Carnby.
Carnby or something.
I think it was Carnby, but
It
I
was
have no
one
idea
that's
what his
like
first
kind
name
of semi-difficult to say. Like that does not feel natural at all to say Carnby.
is. Mr. Carnby.
I wish it was Carnby
Yeah.
with an M because
maybe
Carnby feels awkward to say.
Maybe
And
Carnby.
this is a really terrible tangent.
Yeah.
But
That's probably why he was
yeah.
adopted.
So when this so when Tara Reid's
Or not
character gets
adopted.
introduced, she's got like a security guard with her and I guess a FedEx guy that's dropping off some like artifact, and they start. He's like, "Oh wait, what's this supposed to be?" And the mall cop guy is like, "Well, it's actually about this ancient civilization that had all this like supernatural shit going on." And he's just like the expedition.
He like
dump.
recites the Wikipedia page to this guy.
I was like, yeah,
off the
just
top
like
of
this
his head.
random guy. Like, is this really such public knowledge that
Yeah.
a civilization is supposed to be 10,000 years old?
He had to
Or it's been gone.
mansplain in front of Tara Reid
Yeah.
so he can flex.
Yeah.
It's like if you ordered a record off Amazon and the guy just started telling you about the band.
Yeah.
Like as he's dropping it off.
Or, yeah, like, so how much do you know about ancient Mesopotamia? I'm like, nothing.
Oh, you like this album? Name 3 songs.
I don't have it yet.
I was trying to get into music, sir. Now you've gatekept my, gatekept? Gatekept this hobby.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of the when this movie does get going with the action, it's really cool because there was some there's one moment in particular where like one of the monsters like slashes a dude in the back and it shows his spine is like sticking out of him and it's broken in half.
All right, that was cool.
That was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, the split face lady was cool too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, the guy like finds a lady like dead on the ground and her head is like split in half.
And then he walks in on her like dying, and then with her split head because I guess she was still kind of twitching. However that happens.
Like, you okay?
We can fix it. And he's trying to squish her head back together.
We can rebuild her.
I got Gorilla Glue.
I have one little bit of trivia.
Okay. Wait, we're gonna skip to the trivia.
Not yet. No. We can come up with one other thing to talk about and then do the trivia.
Okay, hold on. Brain blast.
Maybe the joke of this episode could be this. I feel like writer's block. Like, I got nothing.
Yeah,
I honestly don't even know if I want to put this out.
I'd be okay with putting it out.
I've taken the least amount of notes I ever have.
I'm going through the movie in my head.
We've finally found something so fucking bland. We can't say anything good or bad about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be able to say more if, like, again, it was just like the good parts are just so few and far between. It's like 1 minute of cool shit, balls to the wall action,
Yeah.
and then it's boring for like 30 fucking minutes, and then yeah, like the movie ends with like there's like a portal. I think it's to another dimension. I think where these monsters are from, and so like the dude who was a dick earlier, who's in like there's like this like squad of dudes from like I think they're like a paranormal investigation like department
which
of the
Christian
government.
Slater also used to be a part of.
Yeah.
Section
But he's not.
713.
Yeah, but he's
and
not a
and
part
there's
of it
this one
anymore.
dude that's like kind of a dick, but then he ends up sacrificing himself at the end. So
Yeah,
it
he's got
was-
slick back hair, so he's supposed to be like the
cool, I guess.
the wild
Oh,
guy.
I just want to say everyone in this fucking section 713 was it? They look really fucking stupid because they're literally just wearing like skate gear, like protective skating gear. Like they all look like Tony Hawk. Like
Someone literally just had elbow pads on. And
they're
like, a
all
tank
wearing.
top.
They're all just wearing bicycle helmets. Like they look fucking stupid.
Well,
It's
hey,
not cool.
joke's on you. What if a monster was trying to like bite at your kneecaps and elbows?
It's like nah. I
yeah, what
can't.
if
You-
you had to kickflip?
Yeah, you'd look real dumb trying to kickflip without fucking knee pads.
You got a point.
Yeah,
You got a point.
you
Stupid.
could paralyze yourself without knee pads.
Yeah.
It's true.
Maybe what sets this up is like it really set us up for disappointment because, like you said, the first 15 minutes are hype.
Yeah,
And that makes the rest of it even worse.
Well,
also,
how hype was it, or were we just obsessing over the fact that we'd get to see an hour and 45 minutes of Christian Slater front and center? Because he's usually like kind of in the background or like a nothing character, like the wizard, or what the fuck else is he even in? I don't even remember.
We Can Be Heroes.
Oh my god, I forgot he was in
Remember?
that. See, he's like so unmemorable to me, but in this, it's like, oh, great.
He is, I will say, he is the main character of one of my favorite movies.
What's up?
True Romance.
I still need to see True Romance.
Real fucking good.
I will say, like we mentioned, there's like a really long, text
Text crawl.
roll at the beginning, and yet we were 26 minutes into the movie, and Christian Slater was still narrating exposition to us. And I was like, holy fuck, we are 26 minutes into this movie. Why are you still feeding me exposition?
Yeah, he has a noir, like, narration for, like, the first half of it.
What the fuck?
I don't know. And then they just kind of gave up on it.
Yeah.
Like,
We're just not going to do that anymore.
it's still weird this is based off a horror game. I didn't feel like anything about this was horror.
Yeah, I agree. It was...
Yeah.
There's never a part where any of them are alone or particularly in the dark.
There was one guy that was alone that was kind of in the dark.
I feel like that scene with that shooting sequence with the Nemec song was supposed to be like they were in the dark, and then like the only thing lighting it up was just their guns. But like, how the fuck do they even know where to aim at that point? Then if you can't see, like you'd have to shoot, and then you'd be able to see for a split second.
Well, I will say, now that I'm thinking about the action scenes, like I honestly, minus the gore making me laugh, I didn't think that any of the action was remotely good.
No,
I didn't think that, like, none of them look particularly engaged with it. You can tell that they're just being told to shoot at nothing because there's, like, a big-scale siege where they've got, like, straight-up military weapons and miniguns and shit, and all these assault rifles shooting at these monsters that just don't respond, except for sometimes. Like, sometimes it seems like the bullets will hit a shield and sometimes they'll just die. And there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell you anything about the monsters.
Like, just speaking about the portal thing again, I think you can kind of just tell that they ran out of a budget because, like, at the very end, they had the guy running from the portal, but, like, shooting, like, as frantically as he could act, I guess. And then he ran some more and then looked behind him and started shooting again. But, like, literally, if you look at the portal, the monsters are, like, 500 feet in the background, just kind of vibing and walking around.
Yeah.
You could assume that maybe they were supposed to have monsters coming in and he was shooting at, but then they just didn't do it or animate it or put it in or anything. Yeah. So it just made it really fucking awkward, like he was just shooting at the wall for no reason.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me, but whenever we saw the shots of, like, the troops of this whatever division, like, shooting at these other monsters where the monsters weren't on screen, it just looked like they were shooting at nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it was just very not engaging. So, honestly, I don't even... Yeah, like, some of the gore was kind of funny, but I don't even think the action was good. The monsters looked bad. Everybody's acting was terrible. It was just... But none of it was, like, special or the happening level enough to make me like it.
Yeah,
It falls into my critical spectrum of hatred where it sucks, but I can't get excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the good suck. It is
suck.
the bad suck.
Yeah, I mean, even that shooting scene, which I think was probably the best part of the movie. I mean, at the same time, they like used all the flashing lights, to like put in a cut like every fucking half a second, so it's also like really hard to follow what's going on, and that's kind of the point. But yeah,
there was one point where one of their machine guns followed the snare.
That's cool.
Like it was a Slaughter to Prevail song or some shit. So that was cool.
An Infinite Annihilator drum track.
Them gravity blasts, right, Harlan?
Sure. All right,
Hell
so
yeah.
say something good about it.
It ended. I fucking hated this.
I
picked it and I hated it.
The rising backflip.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, that was probably the best action scene to me, was that fight in the bar. That's the only one where it kind of seemed like they were a little bit into it. It was hype enough.
The snapping spine made me think of the Doom games. So I guess that's a good thing.
So some of the dead bodies were pretty cool.
It made me think of a better game.
Yeah.
I thought the CGI on the monsters was actually pretty all right in some shots.
Really?
In some of them, yeah.
Like the shot of seeing the monsters in the person's eyeball. because you couldn't really see the monsters. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Out of 10.
Give this
2.
motherfucker a 1.
I was gonna say 1.5, but honestly, yeah, I'd give it a 1.
Damn.
I hate it.
Really?
I hate it.
not-
I never
I
want to watch this
I guess
again.
it's not
I'm thinking-
egregiously bad.
Yeah, like, I'm
One
thinking-
is like my personal entertainment, but I guess technically as a movie,
Yeah,
it's
like,
not as egregious as some of the shit
It's
we've
not
watched.
that offensive.
So
you know?
it's probably technically closer to like a 3 or 4.
I was thinking a 3 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, as far as how much I like it, a 1. As far as how technically great I think it is, 2.
Yeah, 1 and 3.
So that's my
I
snark.
guess I'll say a 3.
Because I've seen way worse than this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I'd rather watch Birdemic again.
Let's see. I got a little bit of trivia for you.
And bring it on.
The length. God damn it. The lengthy opening text crawl was added after numerous test audience members said that they were confused by the plot. I don't think it helped.
At least I know we weren't the only ones.
Yeah.
Because they never properly explained how the orphans being monsters tied into
Matters.
the monsters just being monsters.
I don't know.
And then I keep trying to tie it back to this ancient civilization. I think it's to do with the artifacts, but I don't know what the point is. I don't know what the point, like the motivation of the villain is.
I couldn't tell you.
Because he wanted to create the monsters from this ancient civilization, but he also found a portal that just had them in there. So maybe it was an oopsie poopsie. And he's like, well, damn, I didn't need to create these monsters because they already existed. And then boom, then they have 2 sets of monsters. You know what? That's what I'm going with.
Sure.
Dr. Pepper fucked up.
Dr. Pibb is. All right, so what are we watching next week or next time?
Well,
Because it's about to be Christmas, so
it is about to be Christmas. It is that time of year.
Aside from our random breaks, we're going to take an actual break from Christmas.
except for when life just kind of gets in the way or we don't feel like it.
Well, hopefully this one will come out just a teeny little bit after Christmas.
So yeah, hey, if you're listening to this right when it comes out, then you'll know that it did not come out right after Christmas. I got COVID, life got kind of weird. I'm fine, but yeah, sorry about the delay. I do genuinely appreciate you sticking with us because I know that our schedule can be a little bit all over the place. The movie that we were going to watch was a Christmas movie, so it doesn't really make sense now. So instead, next week, we are going to be looking at Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Not the first one, the 2011 one. We'll see you next week.
You're trash, bro.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Hold on. You did on multiple